who's there? This guy. What's up, Harness? It's your favorite brilliant billionaire investor, Senor Tres Comas, Mr. Russfest. Wishing you a good morning, Unscripted. Welcome to the most badass conference in DevOps. Look, I know you're all busy building the next Hooli, but thanks for being here today. And I'll tell you, driving a car with doors that open like this or like this isn't the only important thing in life. I hope today that you have a great time and you try to learn something and connect with each other. Because that's really what it's all about. That and billionizing.
Hey, what's going on, Unscripted? It's your boy Akon, and I'm here wishing y'all an amazing event, and I hope that y'all are all excited on getting some of those insights on scaling CI/CD. Thanks for coming, and as you attend the sessions and learn new things, remember that you are all DevOps champions. Peace!
My name is David Asov. Now, if I could see any of you, I'd say you're looking mighty fine. Now, I have no idea what unscripted means, but I'm sure the developers and the engineers in the audience will. Hopefully, you guys are educated through all of these great sessions in the next couple of days. So, pay attention, stay strong, stay cool, stay focused, and get off. Unscripted. It's coming up. Off.
What's up, my nerds? What has two thumbs and is stoked? What has two thumbs and is absolutely stoked for Unscripted? This guy right here. Come on. I hope you have all left your scripts at home and you're ready for some kick-ass presentations. It's called Unscripted for a reason, gang. Scripts down. Minds in the game. Who says so? Minds says so. Jules says so. Let's go get it. Let's harness it. Let's harness it. Can do, will do. Whammy!
Welcome everyone to Unscripted. I'm super excited to welcome you to our first industry conference. We have had well over 3,500 registrations and a fantastic lineup of speakers from companies like HashiCorp, GitHub, National Bank of Canada, ADP, and OpenGov. We created Unscripted to really help our industry simplify and scale software delivery so that practitioners can share real-world experiences with other practitioners. We have two tracks in Unscripted, a simplifying track for beginners and a scaling track for experts. Both tracks will cover topics from DevOps to CI/CD to monitoring and other areas of software delivery. We also have exciting executive panels on both day 1 and day 2, so you'll hear from experts across the board. We also wanted Unscripted to be diverse and inclusive so that the next generation of thought leaders had a stage to share their stories. I hope you enjoyed the next 2 days, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback. And first of all, I'm here to kick off Unscripted today by explaining why we need to simplify and scale software delivery as an industry. A little bit about myself. I'm CEO and founder of Harness, but I'm also a software engineer and a DevOps practitioner. I've been in the trenches, building complex software systems, operating them, scaling them, and I've gone through these struggles of running these systems like most of you here. Let's talk about what we all really want from our software delivery experience. We want that the lead time is very short. We can ship features in days from when the product managers want them. We want the deployment frequency to be quite high. We want to deploy very frequently ideally within a few hours of once a developer writes a code. We want to make sure nothing goes wrong once we ship. When it comes to quality, performance, security, we really don't want to break anything. And finally, if we do break something, if something does go wrong, we want to be able to recover very, very fast. But unfortunately, very few companies are there. Only a very few elite are being able to achieve these goals. I'll tell you the story of my first startup, AppDynamics. AppDynamics was a SaaS company. We were operating a large production system. We were about 300 engineers. And for about every 10 developers, we had one DevOps engineer in our team, whose job was mostly to write and maintain scripts for delivery automation and tooling. The cost of these DevOps engineers was roughly about $4 million to us. But even with all that money spent, we were only able to ship reliably once a month or so. And our delivery process was nowhere close to world class. And that's the story I see in most companies, where here's an example of a Fortune 500 financial services company. There are 55 DevOps engineers working across all their teams. And they estimate that out of the 1,500 developers they have, almost everyone spends at least 10% of their time in software delivery related work, all the toil that comes with software delivery. So the cost to them is $28-30 million a year at least. But the challenge is that even with all this money spent, they have a very high failure rate. Things fail at about 15% of the time for them. The lead time is high. When things fail, it takes them 90 minutes or so to roll back. And they cannot deploy any more frequently than once every 2 weeks or so. And so that's the story, we see again and again in the industry. So why is that? Like, why software delivery remains so painful, and how do we really simplify and scale from here? And that's what we want to talk a lot about in this conference. We want to bring a lot of conversations forward about, what can be done to simplify and scale software delivery. If you look at the evolution of software delivery systems, what we want to achieve out of them, that these systems create velocity and speed, that you can do software delivery at a much, much higher velocity than you could before. But you also want these systems to be simple and scalable, that as the number of developers, the number of microservices, the pieces of code, the impact of your code increases, you can scale things. The generation one of software delivery systems was really about filing tickets, and then someone in an operations team will do the deployments for you. So the developers will throw things over the wall, and now the ops job was to manage the deployments, then get back to developers if something didn't work, etc. It was slow and inefficient, didn't really scale as we moved to our modern distributed systems. Generation 2 for the last 5 to 10 years really has been about building a team of DevOps engineers who will write scripts and maintain these scripts to automate the software delivery processes. So now developers don't throw the code over to over the wall to ops, but they're really throwing the building and maintenance of these deployment scripts to these DevOps teams. And the problem now is that these scripts just don't scale. We are getting into this mountains and mountains of scripts that are impossible to maintain. Our delivery processes have become fragile. That's why you have all these inefficiencies out there, right? So we need to move beyond this generation 2 of software delivery systems, which is about, write scripts to automate everything generation, to the next level, which is what I call intelligent software delivery. Where software delivery systems are intelligent, you tell them what you want to do without you having to write any scripts or code. And these delivery systems should automatically ensure that you're going to meet your quality goals, you're going to meet your performance goals, and they will generate most of the delivery systems and the delivery code automatically for you. The main part of these things to scale is that you have to give developers self-service so that they can rely on these software delivery systems without being bottlenecked on some scripting experts who can script the delivery systems for them. So that's that evolution to this kind of a next generation intelligent software delivery systems is a must for us to succeed as an industry. There are few elements of these modern software delivery systems, and number one is focus on ability for users to define the what and not how. What that means is, if you look at programming, you have imperative programming, which is where you spend most of your programming efforts on defining the how something will work. And then you have declarative programming, where you can define the what you want to achieve, and things happen from there, right? So that's what we have to do when it comes to software delivery. Scripts are imperative programming. A DevOps engineer spends all their time writing and coding how the deployment process will work. Imagine, instead of that, you could get to a place where a developer can just declare what they want their delivery process to look like. Can you just say, I want my microservice to go through a canary deployment in AWS, go make that happen. That's really declarative programming that we need to get to. And that's what all the next generation software delivery systems have to strive for. What takes you 1,000 lines of scripting code, you should be able to do in, say, 20 lines of declarative YAML. What will take you, days or weeks to set up, for a new microservice, a new pipeline, you should be able to do that in minutes if you can achieve that. But most importantly, you can also reduce all the pain when it comes to making changes and modifying your software delivery process. The second key element of these next generation software delivery systems is the ability to make intelligent decisions based on data. Once you simplify how to do a deployment, the hardest part is to intelligently figure out, is the deployment really working? Is it causing any problems? Is it breaking anything? And you have to rely on human experts to figure all of that out, which creates a lot of challenges in scaling software delivery at a massive scale. We do have a lot of data in our systems these days. We have monitoring systems, logging systems, all sort of data collection on usage, user experience, security scans. But the problem is that all of this data is very decoupled from the control logic that's in your software delivery tooling, software delivery pipeline, software delivery processes. And the other challenge is, like, all of this data there's a lot of data, so that's a great thing. But the problem with that is that you really cannot use it without a layer of machine learning that can analyze and convert the data into intelligent decisions. And that's where we need to get to in these modern intelligent software delivery systems, bringing data and control together. If we can bring data and control together, we can get to true intelligent software delivery. Once we start using data and machine learning to drive these decisions in the software delivery process, the kind of things that we can unlock are like, predicting production issues, based on historical executions. We can automatically verify impact of changes. Things like canary verifications, etc., become much simpler. We can optimize test selection and execution to speed up pipelines and what tests to run. We can automate rollbacks. The possibilities are really endless. If we start getting in our pipelines intelligent decision-making that could come from all the data that you have, you can really take the software delivery tooling and software delivery processes to a completely next level. Now, the third key element of these modern software delivery systems has to be the focus on developer experience. Developer is at the center of everything. And if their experience doesn't get simpler, they will still have to rely on some central teams to do all the software delivery tooling work for them. And the challenge with that, it will start getting bottlenecked again. It will not scale. So to solve that, you have to focus on a very, very strong developer experience. What that means is a few things, starting with developer ownership of pipelines. Developers should be able to build them, they should be able to maintain them, they should be able to execute them without relying on anyone else in an ops or a DevOps team to do that work. These pipelines should not be treated any different than code. The experience to edit these pipelines, to create these pipelines should be a very similar experience that you would have with code. A PR process, commits, branching, everything that developers are used to and how they do their work day to day. And finally, you have to make it really, really easy. You have to remove all the repetitive work. You have to remove all the toil for developers for them to adopt these as truly self-service. And that includes bringing in lots of reusable templates, ability to parameterize the pipelines and the building blocks of pipelines, very similar to how you parameterize functions and classes in your code so that you can reuse them. The pipelines have to be designed, and the modern software delivery systems have to be well thought through with that in mind to bring the right kind of developer experience. If developer experience is right, we can achieve this next generation of software delivery where developers can do things. There is no bottleneck for them. There's nothing to slow them down, when it comes to software delivery processes and tooling. But there's a flip side to all of this developer self-service. You can get to the velocity, you can get to the scale you need. But what if a developer does something that your business doesn't want them to do? What if they are taking a shortcut in quality? What if they're bypassing security guidelines? What if they are using your passwords and secrets in a sloppy kind of way? So you have to make sure that your delivery systems will address all of that. The way to do that is to create guide rails inside your software delivery tooling and systems themselves. And that's what I expect the next generation of intelligent software delivery systems to provide. That the ability for an organization to create the different guide rails and easy automatic enforcement of those guide rails. And as long as the developer is within these guide rails, they can go as fast as they want. So you protect the business and you create all the velocity and the freedom and the empowerment that can unlock all the velocity that you'd want to have. You need guide rails for security that has to be built in. So things like who has access to what, are you managing your secrets properly? Are you following your compliance rules, from a governance perspective? Are you passing the right security gates? Are you passing the right quality gates? Do you have full audit trails of everything that's changing, or everyone who has made any change to your system? All of that has to come built in automatically inside your software delivery systems for this to work. Same thing applies to cost guide rails. Now as we move to these cloud native applications and move to public cloud cost becomes a big part of what we do as software engineering teams. And it's the developers who are creating the cloud resources, it's the developers who are provisioning it. And you really want to just make sure that, as an organization, you can give them their budget. That, as long as you remain within your budget for your microservice, everything is good. And as a developer, you should be able to know, as part of your software delivery process, what is the cost impact going to be of a change you make? If you make a code change, are you going to break your budget on the cloud cost? And all of those cost governance and cost guide rails should be built into your software delivery systems. Very similar to security guide rails, you need cost guide rails. So overall, if you remove all of these bottlenecks from developers, give them easy self-service tooling, but can give them these clear guide rails on security, cost, and governance, and make it very easy for them to know when they are not meeting the guide rails and react to them, developers will make magic happen. That's when we can get to the true self-service intelligent software delivery and scale and simplify this all. And those are the two options we have as an industry, I feel. We can accept software delivery to be messy, complicated, and hard the way it is, or we can push ourselves as an industry to bring software delivery to the next level, and all of us should become elite performers when it comes to delivering software. These days of when we are bottlenecked on software delivery, we as an industry, you look at how Google and Facebook and some of the top technology companies in the world, how sophisticated and good they are at software delivery. How can we bring everyone else there to the same level, and how can we get there fast? And it's very possible for us to get there. let me summarize, how I think we could be there, and that would be a big part of our focus for the next 2 days as we bring everyone from industry here, all of software delivery practitioners here to discuss these things. Is software delivery is painful. We all know that by this point. The next generation of software delivery has to be intelligent and developer self-service. And what you need to do, to get there are a few things. Our delivery systems need to enable engineers to focus on defining the what and not the how. How can is not that important, and how is not where you should be spending lots and lots and lots of your software engineering time. The software engineer should be able to design the what of their software delivery processes, and the delivery systems should generate the how automatically. We need to automate intelligent decisions. We need to bring intelligence on top of all the data that we have in our systems, in the delivery pipelines itself, so that these pipelines can become as smart as a smart engineer. If a smart engineer is looking at what's happening during the deployment or during the pipeline and making the decision based on what they see, can we create the same behavior through an automated intelligent system? That has to be our goal to be able to scale things. Third, we need to focus on developer experience. Developer experience is such a core element of software delivery to succeed. Developers need to be able to manage software delivery in a self-service way. That includes things like treating pipelines as code, bringing the familiar Git experience to pipeline management and editing, and making it all really easy for them with reusable parameterized components. And finally, we need to balance that developer empowerment with built-in guide rails around security, cost, governance in the pipelines themselves, so the engineering team can move fast, but without the fear of breaking anything. And as an organization, you can feel confident that nothing is going to break as developers are moving really fast in a self-service way and managing their software delivery. I think if we can do all this, I'm very confident that we can all change and be elite performers when it comes to software delivery. So I'm very, very excited to welcome you all to Unscripted. We have lots of exciting sessions in both the simplifying and scaling tracks over the next 2 days. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a session about where Harness is going and what are we doing at Harness to help simplify and scale software delivery from our product and our platform. And I'll be thrilled to have you all join me in that session. Thank you.